Welcome back, students. At the end of the previous video, I might have lied. I said we're going to do our scene management, but I actually want to cover one more topic first, which is creating our own custom collectibles. Right now in the game, we have two types of collectibles. We have this present, and we have these apples that have been created. So what's special about these things? Well, let's take a look at them, and now that we've gotten a bit more used to this inspector, we can take a shot at understanding what's going on. These are pretty simple things. They have a renderer, which is what gives them their visuals. They have a collider, which allows them to be triggered so that I can detect when I'm close to them. And finally, they have a collectible item script attached with a name that we give it. They also have a pickup range color. Let's see what this does. If I change this to say like this, maybe let's make this kind of like a yellowy orange color. This is now going to make it so that when I'm close to it, the way that I know it's ready to be picked up is that it changes the material to be that color instead. So you'll see here that now it's orange. That's kind of the pickup thing, or I can change this to like this color here, kind of a white color, whatever color I want, whatever suits your game design thinking, you can actually create that in a custom way to be able to be adjustable. So we have a few cool things we can do with these collectibles. You can also, I made prefabs of both of these things, so you're welcome to add more into your world if you need them for some reason and position them as you see fit. But we can also make our own custom ones. How do we do so? Well, let's make a new sphere. And again, you can make these visuals significantly better or use imported ones or whatnot. I'm gonna make this a little bit smaller, squish it down a little bit on these two axes. And I think that looks pretty whatever. So let's go into my materials. I'm gonna make a material called watermelon. Wonderful. And let's get a beautiful watermelon green. Maybe something like kind of like this ripe watermelon color. Nice. Maybe it's a little bit too flat. Oh yeah, I didn't see my dimensions properly there. That looks maybe a little bit nicer. I don't need to be perfect. That's close enough. There's a nice juicy watermelon in the game for you. Awesome. So what do we do with this? Well, first I'm gonna call it watermelon. And now we need to make sure that it's really similar to our other collectibles. I'm just gonna add it to my collectible item grouping, just so it's organized. And let's take a look at what the settings of like an apple are, so we can make sure we mimic them. The first thing I want you to notice is it's tagged a collectible. That's really important because it differentiates things that are not collectible from things that are. So my watermelon, I'm gonna tag it as a collectible so that my game knows I'm able to collect this. Wonderful. Next, apples, they have a renderer and a collider. Well, this mesh filter is just a part of how it looks. So filter, renderer, and collider, those all work. But remember, I chose the collider to be a trigger for my apple. Where's this apple over here? But notice something, that these apples colliders are quite big. What's the purpose of that? Well, that is what determines the range, how far away I can be from it to be able to be picked up. Okay, so this sphere collider, I need to set it to trigger, and I also need to edit it so that it's bigger, so there's a bit more of a range I can pick it up. I don't know how big I want this to be. Maybe that's good enough for testing purposes. So I'll set the collider, the trigger range to be like that. And next, what we're gonna do is see what else the apple has, which is the collectible item script. And so next thing I need to do is, well, let's just move this down to the ground. And I'm gonna add the script called collectible item, like this. This collectible item, remember, I can highlight it. Now, since that's already a green thing, maybe I'll make it dark blue or something. I will give this the name watermelon. So now we've added, looks like all the same functionality as these other items have. Let's just see what happens when I interact with this. If it even works, we'll find out. Once I get close to this watermelon, look, it changes color. It highlights to know I'm close. And when I pick it up, hey, it says I'm holding a watermelon now. Wonderful. So how do I get this working in the rest of my game? Well, let's just say that this NPC, instead of waiting for a present, I'm going to have it wait for a watermelon. What I need to do is I need to make this watermelon a prefab. How do I do so? I just take this object. Now, actually, before I show you this, here's a quick tip. You see this blue filled in box? This means that this item is based off of a prefab. When it's not filled in, it means it's just kind of its own standalone item, not connected to anything else. So it's a good sign that I actually should probably make this a prefab so that I have a watermelon that I can drag in other times to reproduce it, but I also need it to be considered for this quest. Let's connect a watermelon instead of a present that I need this. And I'm going to change the text just to say I need 1 watermelon. And have it say watermelon here, just to change this up. Wow, you got me a watermelon. Shouldn't have. I love my watermelon instead. So I'm just changing the text up a little bit so it makes sense. But now I've connected the watermelon, so this player is expecting instead to have this new item that I've built. Hello there. Something to do. I want 1 watermelon. I still need it. Let's go pick it up. I have it in my inventory. Let's give it to him. Bam. The watermelon's been given. It's out of my inventory now, and I got it for them. And they're happy, and they love it, and I can now move to the next area. So creating your own custom items is pretty straightforward. You can do it pretty quick. You can attach any object that you want that you import. All you have to do is make sure that the root portion of it, this watermelon, for example, has these components on it, and then make sure the names line up and you make a prefab of it. And bam, you can make your own collectibles that you can integrate into your questing system as you see fit. And do remember that you can update the quantity, but if you have more than 1, you have to have more than 1 in your game for the person to be able to pick up. So there you go. All right, now we're ready in the next video to talk about level management. See you then.